Undermountain. Ah, yes. A great place to have fun. The most famous battlefield in which to earn a reputation as a veteran adventurer. The largest known mass grave in Faerun today.
Elminster's laconic assessment of Hallister's halls is both amusing and accurate. Delving into the dungeons beneath Faerun's City of Splendors, Waterdeep is dangerous, exciting, and frequently deadly. So let's just delve deeply on how to run a long-term campaign in the Ruins of Undermountain below, as well as the City of Splendors Waterdeep above, coming right up on RPG Retro Reviews. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel RPG Retro Reviews. I'm Captain Courageous and I review old school modules and games and try to give them a fun and informative analysis. This week I'm stepping away from the reviews for a moment to talk about how one might go about running a long-term campaign based on the iconic mega dungeon Undermountain and the city above it, Waterdeep. Also, I'm going to be talking about a lot of different supplements that might interest you and be invaluable for running a Waterdeep Undermountain campaign. Links for everything I discuss in this video will be in the description. Now, I've already done a very extensive review of both Undermountain and Waterdeep, and you might find those videos very useful in running your own campaigns there, but it's not required viewing for this video. I've created a handy playlist, a link for which is in the screen tag right here and at the end of this video. When talking about running a long-term campaign in Undermountain, which in my case lasted for 10 years, invariably people ask me how you can keep player interest in dungeon exploration for that long. The short-term answer to this is, I don't. The long-form answer is that in reality, Undermountain is a setting just like Waterdeep, Neverwinter, or any other location in the Forgotten Realms. That's not to say that dungeon exploration doesn't take place, because it absolutely does. It's just that it's not the main focus of the campaign. Waterdeep and Undermountain go hand in hand, above in the streets of the place and below in the dark corridors or some foul temple of evil. It's this connection that makes running a campaign there so much fun and interesting. The fact is, the place is so massive it could never be fully explored, for as soon as you clear out one section, something else will invariably move in to fill the void. However, the fact that so much of the dungeon is actually mapped out provides you, the referee, with verisimilitude. There are many ways in and out of the place. For example, finding a secret passage in the cellar of a local Waterdeep residence. The PCs find a massive passage and then stairwell that twists and turns and ultimately leads to heretofore unexplored passages to level 1 of Undermountain. Perhaps they are searching for a child that mysteriously went missing. After exploring this area for a bit, they find a passage that connects back to an area they explored months before, and now the characters have a pretty good idea where they are. For those of you who may be using 5th edition for your game, an old school game, or even 2nd edition, I'm going to recommend several old school supplements that will prove invaluable and give you everything you'll need to run a long-term campaign in Waterdeep and Undermountain, and even a 4th edition supplement as well. All of these are available as PDFs at DriveThruRPG very inexpensively, but unfortunately at this time only 2 of them are available for print on demand. The first is the City of Splendors box set. This supplement is massive, with 6 huge poster-sized maps and 4 guidebooks. Suffice to say, this gives you everything you'll need to run a long-term city-based campaign in the Forgotten Realms' greatest city. The maps are top-notch, and the setting information is invaluable. Of course, given that this is a 2nd edition supplement, it is pre-Spell Plague, which might just be fun for you. I take the 5th edition approach in regards to the Spell Plague and just ignore that it really happened anyway. If you're just starting with Waterdeep, there's a very detailed area called the Adventurer's Quarter that you can concentrate your efforts to begin with. It's basically Waterdeep in miniature and comes with its own guidebook, The Adventurer's Guide to the City. Essentially the area of a typical D&D town, it has everything player characters need for a base of operations. Stores to buy supplies, taverns and inns, and of course NPCs that can lead the characters to areas of adventure. The Adventurer's Guide to the City not only details the Adventurer's Quarter, but Chapter 3 has a great section on how to create a Waterdeep character. Now, given this was written for 2nd edition, it provides character kits such as Waterdeep Native, Waterdeep Noble, City Guard, City Watch, and so forth. Now, if you're using 5th edition, not to worry, you can easily just adapt these character kits as character backgrounds and just include the same benefits as in the kits as part of the background. For example, if you're in the City Guard Air Corps, you gain the Animal Handling skill with double your proficiency bonus when handling griffins. On page 35, there are several new proficiencies, which are 2nd edition D&D skills listed to use in the character backgrounds. If you're using 2nd edition or any old school game, you can just use these as listed. If you're using 5th edition, just allow the character to use their proficiency bonus for checks using these background benefits. For example, Waterdeep Commerce has a modifier of Wisdom -1. So for 5th edition D&D, you'll get your proficiency bonus added to your Wisdom check when trying to predict certain commercial activities. And of course, the character has the knowledge listed under the benefit. I particularly like Waterdeep Lore 1, which comes with the Waterdeep native background. The guidebook provides a healthy list of examples, inns, and taverns throughout the city, and the benefit allows the player to access the guidebook listings. Either way, this gives the referee and the players a great starting point for basing their characters in the city. In addition to the handy guidebook, there's a who's who of the city's major NPCs, a massive listing of the various businesses on the map, and there's also a fun mini-adventure included called the Blue Alley. Essentially a well-known building constructed many years ago by some crazed wizard. At least that's how the story goes, filled with tricks and traps to test the mettle of adventurers and treasure as a reward for those with enough skill to survive it. Learning about the Blue Alley is pretty easy, as anyone claiming the title of adventurer in Waterdeep will invariably be asked if they've tried their hand at the Blue Alley. For those who would like some updated maps and a 5th edition update, you're in luck. For just $2.95, there's a great update on the DM's Guild. In addition, there's also a Fantasy Grounds module file included, so it's definitely worth checking out. Just a warning though, picking up the actual box set for City of Splendors is an expensive proposition on eBay, as you can see here, but the PDF is inexpensive. As a companion to City of Splendors, let me highly recommend Volo's Guide to Waterdeep. To me, this is the supplement that really brings the city to life. A street-level guide to the city by everyone's favorite explorer of the realms, Volothamp Gedarm. Here you'll get invaluable information on Waterdeep's famous landmarks and detailed descriptions of the many businesses and establishments that are unique and memorable to the city. Such places as the Crawling Spider, a tavern modeled after the Underdark and staffed by sultry servers dressed in black bodysuits and masks to make them look like drow. As you take the stairs down into the place, you find plaster slurry walls and rock rubble, glowing mosses and lichens which have been placed on the walls and ceiling. There are many netted glowing globes as well to provide dim lighting for the place. Stuffed spiders hang from the ceiling. There's a lot more going on here than just drinks. Definitely worth checking out. There's a haunted alley called the Prow. Then there's the Old Zoblob's shop, a curio shop that is well known in the city. A stuffed beholder hangs from the ceiling as you enter. This untidy place is cram-packed with blades, treasure maps, weird statues, and more. Another must-see. In addition, Elminster writes amusing footnotes along the way, making corrections to Volo's comments here and there, thus allowing the referee to change things up if they like. I did a full review video of this supplement a few years ago, and you should definitely check that out. Best of all, this helpful supplement is available for print on demand. Then, of course, there's the Ruins of Undermountain box set. There were 2 of these released. The first is a real classic and details levels 1, 2, 3, and then the second box set, Ruins of Undermountain 2, the deep levels, describes several large sub-levels of Undermountain. The first box set is a must-have, but I consider the deep levels completely optional. I absolutely adore the original box set, and I've run many adventures there over the decades. As a bit of trivia and some Easter eggs for eagle-eyed players, the 4 massive poster-sized dungeon maps used in the box set were not 100% original. As you can see here, there's one section on level 1 that is the map from B1 in Search of the Unknown, transplanted to Undermountain. Just below that is the map from B3, Palace of the Silver Princess, with its north side rotated counterclockwise 90 degrees. B5's Horror on the Hill map is attached to the B1 map to the north. Finally, on level 3, the more obscure maps from David Sutherland's Empire of the Petal Throne compose some of level 3. Of course, many purchasers of the Ruins of Undermountain would complain that the maps were unfinished, with only about 70-odd rooms fully detailed between levels 1 to 3. Personally, I never had a problem with this, and quite frankly, I liked it this way. Vast areas of the dungeon you can make your own. Surely there are many ways these sections can be connected to different establishments or residences in the city proper. Perhaps secret ways to lost tombs, meeting places for secret cults, or underworld criminals. One other supplement I'd like to mention, and it's definitely worth picking up, is the 4th edition release, the Halls of Undermountain. Once again, the focus here is on level 1, but what you get with the book is a lovely full-sized miniature-scale map of the Yawning Portal, the gaping entrance well to Undermountain, clearly the main focus of the map. This is just a treat for the eyes to set out on your table when your players enter the legendary tavern. This out-of-print book still isn't all that expensive on eBay, coming in at around $30. You can also grab a PDF and print-on-demand version from DriveThruRPG for just $20. This supplement once more revisits level 1 with 79 new encounter areas, and several of them have very nifty poster-sized maps to go with their encounters as well, as you can see here. These maps are connected to specific adventures that originate in the city itself. The monster stats here are for 4th edition D&D, but they are not listed with the entries, and mostly the monsters are listed in the back. Really, there's nothing here that can't easily be translated to whatever edition of Dungeons & Dragons you're using. There are a lot of new rooms covered here, not just rehashes from previous supplements. I also really like the way the encounters are laid out. In addition to the full-size poster map of level 1 shown here, you get a mini map slice with each new section in the book itself to refer to, so you don't need to have the full-size poster map out at the table. The key to running a successful Waterdeep campaign is familiarity with the setting, both above and below, on the part of the referee. The city is one massive sandbox, and adventure threads linger about every corner. This may be daunting to the neophyte dungeon master, but armed with Volo's Guide, the City of Splendors box set, and the Ruins of Undermountain, you have a campaign's worth of information to last for years. During Session 0, discuss with your players the reasons for their characters to be in the city. The City of Splendors box sets details quite a few members of the nobility. Perhaps a character is from one of those noble houses, or perhaps the character's family owns a business of some type in the city and they've grown up there, or maybe they are just visiting from any other area of the Forgotten Realms and have come to the City of Splendors to find their fortune. I would also try to tease out any connections that might already exist between the other player characters to make it easier to bring the group together. The only limit here is, as always, your imagination. Of course, many players will want to dive right into exploring Undermountain, but for first level characters that can be quite deadly. Better to start with something simple, or at least something that appears simple. A foray into the sewers of the city can prove interesting, with quite a few secret passages and hidden complexes there. Perhaps a lost temple or a forgotten tomb, the influence of which seeps into some local business, and a call for adventurers to help find the cause of the problem starts things off. This is where starting in the Adventurers Quarter can make things a lot easier. A local bulletin board with interesting help wanted posters can get the newly formed group of adventurers set on their path to glory. If they do insist on trying their hand at delving into Undermountain, their most likely path into the bowels of the place will be the Yawning Portal. Here, patrons of all types gather, some just locals interested in the food, the drink, and the entertainment of watching fools take to the entry well to be lowered to their deaths. Wagers openly taking place as to their survivability. Veterans of the place are there as well, sharing stories of the horrors they faced within the depths of Hallister's halls. If they are first-level characters, you might have one of the vets try to dissuade the group from attempting it.
You're a bit too green for the likes of Hallister's halls, laddies. Best you get some grit on you before the hallowed halls chew you up and spit your bones out to join the rest of those already littering the bad mages' halls, eh?
And if they insist on trying it regardless, the veteran adventurer will give a heavy sigh and suggest they not venture too far from the entry well if they can, and to pack light so they can run fast.
Grab what treasures you can, and don't dally. Something big with long claws and sharp teeth is liable to pick up your scent.
Thus, given all the hints and clues, if they insist on wandering too far into Hallister's depths, don't be gentle. You really haven't experienced Hallister's halls until you're running as fast as you can, dropping rations behind in a desperate attempt to distract the pursuing trolls, ogres, and other hungry things that have picked up your scent long enough to make it back to the entry well. To accentuate the point, as the veteran is trying to give them good advice, have the well suddenly erupt in screams of horror and roars, a horrified, "Pull us up! Pull us up!" followed by patrons lining along the well with crossbows, trying to fight off whatever is pursuing the desperate fools, hoping to escape the thing they poked a bit too much. Once your Undermountain campaign is underway, there should be threads and connections that return your characters to the city often. Politics between the houses, criminal organizations, evil cults, and stray monsters and haunts can provide many an evening's exciting adventure. Create memorable NPCs, rival adventuring parties, and cruel villains. Many of the best adversaries are not the monsters in the dungeon, but well-connected persons, city officials, and scoundrels who prowl the city's dark underbelly. Speaking of the city's dark underbelly, let me direct you to another excellent supplement you should really pick up. Skullport, the Port of Shadow. Skullport is a secret city in miniature, located on Undermountain's 3rd level, and perhaps Waterdeep's best-kept secret. Wretched and lawless thieves, slavers, and sellswords of the worst type reside there. This supplement expands greatly upon the information originally provided in the Ruins of Undermountain box set. Skullport is an interesting place. Its urban sprawl consists of both horizontal and vertical levels, built atop each other. The place is fully detailed in its horrific glory, and you're in luck. It's available for print on demand as well for just $17, at Drive-Thru RPG. The best Undermountain Waterdeep stories encompass the whole of the place. While certainly you can just have the players descend into the entry well at the yawning portal and carefully explore and map Undermountain to their heart's content. But that can get a little repetitive, and quite frankly, the place itself is just too massive to ever be actually fully explored. Ideally, the adventuring party takes to the halls inspired by events in the city itself. They are contacted through an intermediary to try and uncover a lost item said to exist in some specific area. Perhaps a map of a section in level 2 is provided, and some hints on how to get there. Or a secret cult is forming vile, sacrificial rituals on level 3, and city officials hire the PCs to discover the cult's location. Also, let's not forget the Mad Mage of Undermountain himself, Hollister Blackcloak. The Mad Mage watches remotely any area of the dungeon he desires. Generally, he leaves things to happen on their own, amused by what he sees, but on occasion, for reasons only the Mad Mage knows for sure, he'll take an active hand in things, perhaps leading the PCs to secret treasure through obscure clues and riddles, or even more insidiously, he'll save a group of adventurers from certain doom, denying something with long claws and sharp teeth its well-earned meal, only to teleport the lot of them deeper into the Undermountain's depths, thus finding themselves lost, low on supplies, and needing a way out of the place while avoiding more monsters and traps along the way. Their very survival now becomes the focus of the adventure. There are quite a few fixed and roaming teleports throughout Hallister's halls. Many are known, while others wait to be discovered. Some are only one way, while others take you back and forth between two specific areas. I remember one time I had my group running through the second level of Undermountain, only to come to a dead end, the wall section adorned with magical runes clearly indicating a teleport of some type. I comprehend languages revealing the command word. They were being stalked by something large and hungry and were low on supplies. Thus, with little choice, they took the plunge and ended up erupting from the wardrobe of some poor noblewoman as she was preparing for a local party. Hijinks ensued. Amusingly, my players managed to explain themselves quite well, and in the end, purchased the wardrobe from the woman's husband. He himself had acquired the thing from a curio shop decades ago, unaware of its properties. The party moved the wardrobe to a warehouse they were renting in the docks ward, and from that point forward had an alternate way directly to the second level of Undermountain. There they actually took control of a section of the dungeon where they could conduct meetings in secret and other business. Thus, my last bit of advice for a successful long-term campaign within the City of Splendors is to give your players roots in the place. Let them open a business, gain connections with local officials, or perhaps they are themselves the local officials. As they gain levels and grow in prominence, so too does their stature in the city itself. And that brings this video to a close. I hope you found this useful and fun. Next week I'm going to revisit Dungeon Crawl Classics with a fun review of Harley Stroh's module, Jewels of the Carnifex. I'd like to thank my patrons, all of whom are integral to making this channel possible. Thank you so much. Please give this video a like, comment, and share. Please check out my Teespring store for great gaming swag, t-shirts, carry bags, coffee cups, and more. Join the channel's Facebook page, RPG Retro Reviews, and consider supporting the channel by becoming a patron yourself, or alternatively, you can just send a tip through the PayPal tip jar. A link is in the description. Also, Super Thanks is now active. As always, my friends, may your D20 roll true, and game on.